Winter is a great time of the year to be out on the bank. In fact, it's one of my favourite seasons. I don't think there's been a year gone by where I've not wanted to be out on the bank over the colder months. But to be a winter carp angler, I think you have to be in it for more than just the fishing. Personally, I enjoy the solitude and the challenges winter fishing throws up, like staying comfortable and warm and motivated. The extra thought processes needed to work things out, and the extra excitement of catching a winter carp. Plenty of hot food and coffee is a must during these cold spells. Nothing lowers the spirits more than being cold. The great outdoors seems a very different place during the winter too. The amazing sunrises and sunsets the low winter sun offers, the misty mornings and the cool frost sculptures created by nature itself. And the wildlife seems much quieter and more graceful as it goes about its business. As a photographer and videographer, the opportunities to capture that cool shot are endless. But winter seemed to come and go very quickly this year, and spring is finally here. There's no carp angler in the land that doesn't look forward to spring. It gets exciting when the trees start to bud and the reed shoots start to poke their heads out of the water. The days start to get longer and warmer, and the fish become more active as they come out of their winter slumber, giving themselves away more readily as the need to feed increases. Life on the bank certainly becomes easier and more comfortable. Many anglers have new tickets and lakes to look forward to. Others continue their search for that one special fish in their lake. For me, this year it's a new adventure and a new challenge. I've been offered a ticket that I've wanted for a while, so I've grabbed it with both hands. So you join me on my first session on my new water, and I couldn't be more excited. As always, an early start saw me get to the lake just as the sun was rising. After a quick walk round, the swim choice was made, a likely looking area along a very carpy tree line. But with the threat of rain looming, I quickly got the brolly up and the rods ready to go. The freshly tied rigs I'd excitedly prepared the night before are baited, and balanced and ready to go. With a few simple flicks, they went just where I wanted them. So it's time to settle back and see how my first session goes. It's nice having that exciting feeling for a new water, and I definitely have that early spring buzz.
We're down here on the Kingsbury Water Park complex, and I've managed to secure myself one of the night permits, which means I can fish a couple of the lakes for night sessions. So the Kingsbury Water Park itself, there's quite a few lakes on here. Most of them are actually day ticket only, so you can only fish them just for the day. There's actually no night fishing, but yeah, this ticket that I've got actually allows me to fish 2 of the pools overnight. So there is a short stay rule on here, so you can only do 3 days and 2 nights at a time. Then you have to be off it for 24 hours, which is good because there's a bit of a good turnaround of people fishing it then, and you get a good chance of getting in some swims as well. So it's not very busy, to be honest. I've been down here for a few walk arounds. Luckily enough, it's only just up the road from my house. I live about 20 minutes away down the motorway, so I've just been coming up here with Blue and just been having a walk around and just getting a feel for the place, having a look to see if we can see any fish as well, and yeah, just trying to get some sort of idea of how busy it's going to get. So yeah, Blue kind of liked having a bit of a walk around, so yeah, it's been nice being able to come around here. So but yeah, I'm down here today on my first session. and the lake that I'm fishing today is the lake called Broomycroft. So like I said, there's 2 lakes. The other one's called Canal Pool, which is over the back there. The lake I'm on now, Broomycroft, the fish aren't as big in here. I think they go up to about 37, but there's a few more fish in here. I think there's about 150 fish stock in here. I've got a good friend of mine, Craig, who fishes it a lot, and he's been showing me some pictures of some of the fish he's had out, and yeah, there really are some stunning fish in here as well. So Canal Pool over the back there, there's some slightly bigger fish in there. I think there's a couple of 40-pound fish in there, but there's not as many in there. So I thought what I'd do is I'll start on Broomycroft, just get a feeler for the place, and see if I can get myself a fish out. I don't know how big this lake is. I should imagine it's about 20 acres. And the swim I'm in at the moment is a nice little corner swim, and I've got a nice little margin up the right hand side, and got here nice and early this morning. I think the gates opened about 5:30, the barrier went up, so yeah, got here about 5:30, drove straight in, and it was just getting light as I had a quick walk around. So there's a few people on today, but like I say, I fancied this little corner down here. Got a lovely little tree line margin up, and I have actually seen quite a few fish out there. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll have a fish on this session. It is actually a park lake as well, so there's a lot of public round. I've got a path just behind me, so you may hear people and kids walking up and down every now and again. But yeah, that's what happens when you fish parks. So but yeah, really excited to be here, and yeah, it's been raining all morning, hence the reason I'm stuck under the brolly. So yeah, it's starting to brighten up a little bit now. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just sit here for a little while, because there are definitely a few fish mooching about. It's now 11:45, so yeah, it's been quite busy this morning trying to get everything set up and get my rods out. I didn't really have too much of a lead about because there were fish showing out there this morning, so I didn't bother having too much of a lead about. I just flicked a lead out straight in front of me, and just found a nice little clear spot. Starting to get a little bit weedy now. The lake itself, I think, is only about 5 foot deep maximum in the deepest part, and the water is absolutely gin clear. So it's supposed to be quite weedy in the summer, and it's now starting to grow up now. So just flicked a few hinges out. I've got one up the margin, and I've got 2 straight out in front of me. So not put a lot of bait out, just scattered a few boilies about, that was all. And I'm trying out the new pop-ups, which the guys from Baitworks have sent me, and these are called Induce. I don't think they're out yet, but yeah, they smell really nice, smell really fruity. So got 3 of them on, so let's see if they'll see if we can bag our first fish out of this lake. First time using these new baits. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kick back for a bit, because like I say, there's a few fish showing out there, and there has actually been a couple boshing out in the margins around there. So what I'm going to do is just sit back for a bit, and yeah, fingers crossed. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you the rig that I'm using on this session, and I've had a little bit of a change to the way I usually use my hinge stiff rigs, because I'm fishing over a little bit of weed out there. The spot in front of me especially is quite weedy. Had a little bit of a lead about this morning when I got here, and the weed that I was pulling in was about 6 to 8 inches tall. So it's not too deep weed, but it's still weed out there. There was a little bit of a clear spot, just bringing it back, and that was just a little bit of a rat-a-tat every now and again, but the majority of it is just weeds. So I am actually just fishing over weed, and also the right-hand rod as well that I'm fishing up against the snags. It's also quite weedy along there as well. So made a little bit of a change. I've also been told that the fish in here are quite riggy as well. So I thought a little bit of concealment is going to be a little bit better. So yeah, I'm still fishing the hinge stiff rig, but I've made a couple of adjustments. So to start with, I've got one of the new Induced pop-ups there from Baitworks. They sent me these out to try out, and they're really, really lovely, really fruity smell. So I'm sure they're going to work for me. I'm fishing them on all 3 rods, so hopefully they'll induce a bite for me on this session. That's just from there with a little micro ring swivel, and that's just going onto a D loop there on the back of the hook, and that's a size 6 choddy there, one of our size 6 choddies. That's the barbless version because there's a barbless reel on here. Just a short length bristle filament there, and that's just tied with a 2-turn blood knot onto just a ring swivel. The reason I use a 2-turn blood knot is because you don't really need any more than 2 turns. If you do use more than 2-turn blood knot on a piece of bristle filament, the knot then becomes very difficult to pull down, and you risk damaging the bristle filament trying to pull it down. So 2 turns is enough, and that's more than enough to hold it on there. Got a piece of putty on there, just enough to critically balance that. I usually overshot my rigs if I'm fishing on a relatively clear bottom, because I don't want it moving about. If the fish come in and start feeding about, I don't want it moving about. But because I'm fishing over weed, firstly I don't want this banging down straight into the weed and digging in. I want this to float down nicely and just sit on top of the weed. And also with the fish feeding around it, that's not going to move about because it's sat on weed. So I've just really critically balanced that. That ring swivel there then goes on to a piece of our 24-pound phantom fluorocarbon, and that's a perfection loop there. Now I usually tie my hinge stiff rigs onto a piece of coated hook link using the Albright knot, but because I want that extra bit of concealment, I'm actually using the fluorocarbon. So that's a length, 9-inch length of our 24-pound phantom fluorocarbon, and that's just a perfection loop. The perfection loop, it's a really nice knot as well. It's really strong. It's a bit fiddly to tie when you first start tying them, but if you look at that, how that comes off there, it just comes off there nice and straight. If that was a figure of 8 loop, they usually kick off to the side a little bit, and yeah, the rig just doesn't sit very nicely with them. So, but if you look at that, there's a lot of movement in that, and that rig will turn no matter what way the fish comes in and picks it up. That rig's going to turn. So yeah, a nice lot of movement on that. On the other end, I've just got another perfection loop tied on there. Again, a really nice knot to use. And what I'll do is I'll just put a rubber bead on there. When that goes over the quick link on the leader, I'll just slide the rubber bead up over the quick link, and that'll hold that on nicely. So it's a little bit of a change, a little bit more fiddly to tie, but yeah, that's a really nice rig. That's also very supple as well. But that will kick out, so basically that will kick out away from the lead. So as that goes down, that's nicely critically balanced, and that'll just float down nicely and kick out and sit on top of the weed there. As for the leader setup, well, for the 2 rods I've got fishing out straight in front of me, I'm again using the heli setup because I'm fishing over the weed, and I always use a heli setup. About 99% of my fishing's used with a heli setup. So using one of our lead-free heli leaders, ready-made heli leaders. And on this one, I've just got a 4-ounce flat pair there, and that's got a quick link on there, so that's actually fixed to the leader. And just got a nice rubber sleeve over the top of that, just to keep that nice and neat. Got a bottom bead there, I can slide that up and down to regulate how far I want the hook link to sit away from the lead. I'm not actually fishing in any silt, so I've got that relatively close to the bottom. I've got a quick chain swivel there, just sliding up and down. And there, I've just got the safety bead system. So if I do crack off, that's just going to pull off there nicely, and the fish will be able to get the rig off the end of the leader. So this is our 45-pound lead-free leader material, totally lead-free, and it's made 100% PTFE, so that sinks like a brick. It's really heavy, but that's really supple as well. So yeah, it's really nice lead-free leader material, and it's a nice camo colour as well. For the rig that I'm for the leader that I'm fishing up against the snags, I've changed it up a little bit, and I've made it a little bit different, and I've tried to make it a little bit safer. To start with, I'm only using a 2-ounce flat pair lead. Now, I want this lead just to get me out there. That's the only reason I want this lead on, just to get me to the spot. There's no other reason. Because that's in weed anyway, and I do on the take, or I do crack off, I should say, that's still going to pull off there. That's just going to choke up in the weed, and there's still enough on there to help that safety bead pull off. But underneath there, I've actually got a C-clip, one of our large C-clips, and on the end of the leader, I've just got a 6mm ring spliced on the end of the leader there. The C-clip then goes onto the 6mm ring, and then you put your lead on the swivel onto the C-clip as well. and then over the top of that you just slide a piece of silicone sleeve. The reason I've done that is because they're still on there. They're still going to cause resistance. If that comes off there, they're still going to let me pull that bead off. If the fish comes, if this cracks off and the fish wants to pull that bead off with a rig, that'll still allow that to pull off. But if I go into them snags and that lead gets caught up in the snag, I want that to be able to pull off, because in the event that that does get tangled up around the snag, or that doesn't allow that to come off there, I want that to be able to pull away there, and I want that lead to be able to pull off. That's the only reason I'm using the C-clip on this, because I'm fishing up against the snags. Usually I like to keep the lead fixed onto a heli setup, so that is more chance of that pulling that off. But I think if you lose that lead in the snag, you've got more chance of the fish getting away with the leader and just trailing the leader about than you would if that lead was fixed and it got caught up in the snag. That's going to make that more difficult to get out. So again, it's just a metre length of our lead-free leader material, the same material. And again, like I say, it's a really nice camo colour, and it does darken down a little bit once it gets under the water. So yeah, it's really nice. So yeah, they're the two setups I'm using with the leader wise, and the rig setup I'm using. And hopefully that's going to work for me. Like I say, the fish are supposed to be quite riggy in here, and I just want to maximise my chances of catching a fish. So the sun seems to be coming out now, seems to be brightening up a little bit. I'm just fishing singles out there at the moment. When I got here this morning, because there was quite a few fish showing, I just fished singles out to them onto the spots. But yeah, it's getting to lunchtime now and the sun's coming out, and the fish have stopped showing now. So I think what I might do is I might just put a little bit of bait out on the spots, and see if I can get the fish dropping down and feeding. Like I say, the lake's only about 5 foot deep, so I think if they're cruising about and they see a nice bed of bait on the bottom, there's a good chance they're going to drop down on that. So I think that's what I'm going to do now, is I'm going to get the spod rod out and put some bait out. So put a little bit of bait out, I think. So yes, fish have definitely stopped showing now, so I think I'm going to put a bit of bait on the spot. So I'm not going to put too much out, just going to put a couple of spoms over each spot, I think. So I'm fishing one 13, or two rods 13 wraps straight out in front of me, and I've got one at 15 wraps just off that margin line there. So just put a bit of bait out. So I'm just going to be using the just Monster Red basically. I've got some of the Monster Red pellet, and I've also done a load of Monster Red boilies in the Ridge Monkey Crusher thing, or boilie chop, or whatever it is, and just a bit of the Monster Red spice oil in that as well. So nice red carpet on the bottom of the bed, on the bottom of the lake. Might draw them down a little bit. Just put a couple out on each spot. Just bought myself a new spod reel as well. My Shimano XTD spod gave up the ghost the other day. The line guard got all jammed up on it. That's started making rather a nasty grinding noise, so gone out and bought myself a new Emblem spod reel. I have had one of these before. They're good reels, but the Shimano reel was nice. It had a nice smooth retrieve on it. Quick as well, but yeah. Got the Daiwa one now to match my Tawnies. I've got this one clipped up at the other spot. Nice one. Just got the 30-pound bride on here with a 50-pound shock leader. So you can really whack it if you want to. And the braid floats as well. Another thing I like about these Daiwa reels is when you've got a button on the bottom. If you just press it, it puts the bail arm in the position it needs to be in for casting, which is quite a cool feature. The old job. Not going to put too much bait out. Just want to get enough out there just to get them grubbing about. So. Nice one. That'll do, I think, for the time being. Lovely old job. Well, it's getting dark now. As you can see, the sun's going down behind me. It's been quite a quiet day, to be honest. I was half expecting to have a fish, the amount of fish that I saw showing this morning when I got here. They were everywhere. But, you know, nothing. The guy over there's had 3 now, so they might all just be held up in that corner over there. I say all. I should imagine there's quite a few fish held up in that corner over there. I was just talking to Craig, yeah, there's about 150 fish in here. There's a good few 30s in here apparently, loads of 20s, and possibility of a 40, so that's something to look forward to. I'll have to get some pictures of Craig to put on the vlog to show you. But yeah, really excited, really got the buzz for this place. Really looking forward to spending the year on here as well. Apparently it gets really weedy in the summer to the point where it's unfishable. But we'll have to see what we're going to do. We're going to have to try and get over that challenge. And either just come down, fish the chods, or keep the bait going in and try and keep a couple of spots clear. Bit of raking, I suppose. But Craig said that fishes nicely in the winter. He's had some good hits of fish out of here in the winter. Being it's a shallow lake, it's hardly surprising that's going to fish well in the winter. But yeah, really got the buzz for it. Just give you a quick look around the swim. Oh, so you've got a bit of a bank up here. So yeah, that's the swim down there. Just brighten up a bit. Got the old fast and light. But yeah, it's not too manicured. Just how I like it. Just how I like it. So yeah, sorry for the if the camera's a bit wobbly. I've left my gimbal at home, so I'm having to handhold it. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get myself a coffee, put the camera away because I'm quite tired. I've been up since about 4 o'clock this morning. So I'm going to put the camera away, get myself a coffee, just sit and watch the water, see if I can see where the fish are holding out. Probably not going to move, but just be nice to see where they're located. So yeah, it's a duck. Get the thermocell out, get that on, get rid of some of these mozzies and sit and chill out. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Oh. Lovely old job. First fish of the session, and first fish from my new water, so yeah, it's always good to get off the mark. 2 o'clock in the morning, so I'm a bit blurry eyed. I was in quite a nice deep sleep and this ripped off. Oh, stunning fish. 18 pound, 8 ounces. Nice little scaly thing as well. Ooh. Check that out. Lovely old job. And also my first fish on the new Induce pop-ups from Baitworks. So yeah, really pleased with that. Just taking on the hinge stiff rig. I'll have a few more of them, I think. Let's have a look at the other side. Oh. There you go. Calm down a bit. Put water on you. absolutely ripped off. A couple of bleeps and it went. It's now starting to get a little bit weedy out there as well, so try to make sure I grabbed it as quick as I can, or quick as I could. Had a little bit of weed on it, but not too bad. First of many, hopefully. Let's get it back. Let's get back. There you go, mate. Yes. Oh. Fish number 2. Check this out. Just shy of 22 pound this one. I've just put my cameras away after that last fish, and just noticed my right hand bobbin just pulled up tight, then just dropped back down again, and that's the one that's up the right hand tree line. So yeah, I grabbed that pretty quick because I didn't want it to go in the snags, but it snagged me up a couple of times, but managed to get it out. Check this out, dumpy little old thing. Big old gut on it. It's been on the munch by the looks of it. And again on the new induce pop-ups from Baitworks on a hinge. Let's have a look at the side. It's had got a bit of a scratch on this side where it went in the snags. Put some propolis on that, I think. Go. Being well behaved. Getting bigger. Let's put some propolis on it and get it back. There you go, mate. Well, good morning. Yeah, quite an eventful night last night. Well, I should say first thing this morning. First fish I had was on the middle rod, on the 13 wrap spot out there, and it just tore off. Managed to get out of bed, get my boots on, but yeah, it had actually gone into a load of weeds, so yeah, it weeded me up quite bad, but I managed to get that one in. And yeah, my first fish out of here, nice 18 pound stocky. And got that out, did the photographs, did the video of it, put it back, and just as I was picking the rod up to redo the rod to put it out again, I noticed my right hand rod, the bobbin just lifted up and then just dropped down again really slowly, and it was the right hand rod up against the margin, up the snaggy margin there, so I quickly hit into it and felt there was a fish on straight away. Started moving about, and then it just went solid, so it had gone into the snags. So I managed to just keep a little bit of pressure on it, managed to get it out of the snag, and it went round again, kept going around again, went back into the snags again. So it snagged me up a total of 3 times, but managed to get it out, and yeah, managed to get it in, and that was that nice 2112 mirror. So yeah, couldn't have asked for a better start to my my new time on my new water. So yeah, nice couple of fish in the night, and it's gone pretty quiet this morning. There was a lot of fish boshing out right in the far corner. The guy who was over there yesterday is gone now, and there's a lot of fish boshing out in that corner over there. So I think the bulk of the fish must be over there somewhere, but I think what they're doing is they're moving out and coming along this margin. Just in a couple of fish showing out there. But yeah, it's pretty quiet. The wind switched round now. So I was going to stay 2 nights, but it's Claire's birthday today, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the session short. I've had a couple of fish. I'm going to cut the session short and I'm going to go home, and I might just take her out for the night and celebrate her birthday with her. But yeah, it's been good. It's been good getting down there. It's been good making a start, and good having a couple of fish. So, but yeah, I'm going to sit here for a little bit longer. There's definitely a few fish still milling about out there, and they seem to be all over in that corner. So what I'm going to do is, let's say, give it another couple of hours, and then I'll probably go. So I'll just finish my coffee and see if we can bag another fish before we go. Check this out. I was just getting the rods in. Last rod, I was only going to bend down and pick it up, and it bent round. And the same rod down that tree line margin as well, so that was a bit of a scrap to get it in. Not the biggest fish in the world, but check that out. Look at the scales on that. It just shows the stamp of fish that's going to be in this lake. And if there's anything to go by, I can't wait to see some of the bigger ones. So, but yeah, the new pop-ups from Baitworks, the new induced pop-ups, really working well for me. And a couple of little rig changes as well, just to combat the weed. It's paying off as well. So, great start. 3 fish on my first session, can't grumble at that. So yeah, let's have a look at the other side. That's it. Check that out. The scales on it. Obviously one of the new stock fish. Yeah. So yeah, sorry I've had to cut this vlog short, but it is Claire's birthday today, so I better get home and spend some time with her. And like I said, I've had a good session, so yeah, I've been busy over the last month working on the website, so check that out, www.acarpyconnection.co.uk. There's a few new things on there now, and also our Facebook page as well. Give that a look, Carpy Connection. And yeah, our Instagram's doing really well at the moment as well. I think we've got nearly 4,000 followers, so I'd appreciate it if you go over on there and give us a follow on there and check out some of our pictures. And if you like them, give them a like. So yeah, get this little fella back, get my rods and that in the car and get ready to go home. And I'll hopefully be back next week for some more. So until next time, be lucky.